to our Hurricane Milton update today. Thanks to Ryan Lloyd of the Indian River County Emergency Management Department for coming on today and giving us an update as to what's been going on. So Ryan, how are things looking at this hour?
We've had a lot of activity. I mean, obviously all eyes are on Hurricane Milton as everyone's wondering exactly where it's going to make landfall and make its track across the state. And we're keeping our eyes close on that too. There was a lot of mapping earlier today where Indian River County, the Treasure Coast, really more Indian River County, was kind of on the cusp of the areas where the eye might traverse and go across. And we're very cognizant that the worst of weather is going to be on the north side of the storm, but I think anywhere near the eye wall and anywhere where this storm is going to be affected, our residents and the people that are in the region need to start taking, well, they should have already started taking proactive measures, but hopefully the preparations that people are making are getting concluded tonight and we're getting ready for tomorrow.
Yesterday when we talked, I just watched the broadcast from last night, and it had moved a little bit to the north, but and that was a good sign, but it looks like maybe that's jogged back a little bit.
Yeah, we have another briefing here coming up in the 5 o'clock hour from the National Weather Service, and we'll be looking forward to see what the updated forecasts are.
What's the latest forecast you had? What can we expect and when?
So for Indian River County, we in almost any scenario, I think we're guaranteed to have a tropical storm of some sort. Our last advisory is we were looking at 45 to 55 mile per hour sustained winds. Gusts possibly at 74 miles per hour or even higher, depending on where that eye comes across the state. The timing is still something we're wanting to get a little more information on, but our best estimate right now is 9 p.m. plus or minus 4 hours tomorrow evening.
So really people should, at this point, plan to be off the streets by 5 or so, or earlier even. What do you think?
Yeah, I think if anyone's going to be out doing things and making final preparations, it'd be a good idea to have that done by lunchtime tomorrow.
Okay. And then into Thursday, what do you think it'd be clear? Do we have a sense whether it would be clear by daytime or is it going to continue?
Larry, it's just a little bit too early to tell right now. The tropical storm conditions, it's just going to depend on what the condition of the storm is as it's going across the state, whether it slows down. I think it's just a little bit too early to know when it's going to leave.
Okay, and there are a lot of closures and things like that. And we can get all that information, I guess, at the county website, or TCPOM has some of that information. The county, it seems to have done a really good job on the homepage of having that red banner up at the top that links to a page with a lot of other information. You have any information on whether there are still supplies if people do want to go out before noon tomorrow? If there are things available?
Yeah, we heard that there was a few gas stations earlier this morning that were short on fuel supply, but in the afternoon, we really haven't heard anything about significant shortages on resources that people would be seeking for hurricane preparations. Obviously, the longer people wait, the less likely they are going to be to get the things that they are going to need to get. And this is one of the reasons why we advocate to people to do your hurricane preparations and planning early, especially during those time periods when the state has sale-free tax periods where they can buy goods and stuff to get themselves ready. But for those that don't quite have everything, you probably need to be getting out there and getting it very soon, because you got to think, even the retailers and their supply shippers, there's going to come a point in time where the different retailers cannot get the shipments in until after this storm has passed.
That makes sense, because it is going, it is expected to cross the entire state. So,
Yep.
What about things like, people that don't have a place to go? There are shelters that are going to be, there's some open now, right? And there'll be more opening tomorrow.
Yeah. So this storm's very different than any of the recent storms that we've had. We ended up opening several general population shelters at 2 p.m. today. I'll give you a list of those. Fellsmere Elementary School, Sebastian River Middle School, Oslo Middle School, and also the Freshman Learning Center. They opened up as general population shelters. We did that for a few reasons. And one of the main ones is that we know there's a lot of folks that have evacuated from the West Coast. There's not millions of hotel rooms available around the state of Florida. They're certainly going to be in high demand. So we went ahead and did something a little different this time. And the additional thing I want to mention on our shelters is that the Freshman Learning Center has one wing. We call it the 800 wing, which is available to be a pet-friendly shelter for folks that have their pets with them. And then tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m., the special needs shelter is going to open up at the Treasure Coast Elementary School. So we're definitely activating shelters, and we want to make sure that we have more than enough or be more prepared than what we would normally have for a storm of this caliber.
That's an interesting idea. Good idea. Do you expect, when we talk about shelters, do you expect there to be, maybe it's too early to tell, but evacuations that would be ordered on the, in Indian River County, say, where some of those people would have to go to shelters at the last minute, or is it looking okay?
I don't foresee right now any sort of mandatory evacuation orders. We were thinking for people that have vulnerable housing, maybe older mobile homes or some other type of housing situations that may not be up to an ability to withstand hurricane force winds. We did recommend that people that have the vulnerable housing to consider going somewhere safe. And if the shelter is the last resort that they have, then by all means, the shelter provisions available to them.
Good deal. So it sounds like the bridges, barring some kind of unforeseen turn in the hurricane, would remain open for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. So our standpoint on the bridges right now is that we feel that at 45-mile-per-hour sustained winds, the bridges are really no longer safe to be traveling on, and they would be subject potentially to closure at that point. And that'd be a decision our law enforcement officials would make jointly with emergency services. So we don't have a defined time right now on anything on whether or not the bridges are going to close, but those are the things that we have as contingencies that we've looked at.
Okay, I've got a question, about the fire rescue. You got a couple stations on the beach. Would those continue to be manned during a storm?
They will be manned, but there could come a point in time where sustained winds are as such to where it's not safe for the first responders to answer immediate calls. So, those definitions and stuff in terms of the wind speeds will be defined by the fire chief. But yes, to answer your question, they will be staffed and manned.
Okay. Let's see. So, what else? We talked about the bridges. We talked about evacuations. So, anything else that we should talk about today, Ryan? Anything else the public should know about, do you think?
I just think it's important to use today as your final preparation day. There's going to be a little bit of time tomorrow. Obviously, this is a historic storm that's going to really, really have a major impact on the West Coast. I don't want our people to panic. There's a lot of folks in our area that maybe have never been through a hurricane or a tropical storm and is new to this. So I want to make sure that people understand that they need to take it seriously and they need to stay off the roads tomorrow when the conditions do start to go downhill in the afternoon. But this is not a reason for any sort of all-out panic. Let's just use good judgment and good sense and use our time wisely that we have right now to make final preparations.
Sounds good. I really appreciate your help for coming on and educating the community about what's going on. I know you've been busy all day doing that and learning more about what's going on. There is a new update coming out. Thanks again, Ryan, and good luck as you continue your job over the next couple of days here.
I appreciate it, Larry. Thank you for your support. And remember, according to the weather forecast, it should be a good weekend. So let's get through this. Let's get through it safely. And then let's enjoy a weekend on the other side that's nice.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.